그건 건호새끼가 필요해. 계곡 줄게. 이번엔 우리 둘이 최선을 다해보자. 무슨 닉네임까지 만들었네. 들기 싶네. 짐승을 잡으려면 건호는 우리 룰이 뭐야? 끝까지 지켜준다.
The fight is not over, it is just getting started. When loyalty is tested and enemies hit harder than ever, only the strongest will survive. Welcome back to Cinema Reviews. Today we will dive into Bloodhounds Season 2 2026, where every punch tells a story and every choice has a price. Get ready because this time the stakes are personal. Bloodhounds follow Kim Jun-woo, a talented and kind-hearted boxer who gets pulled into dangerous world of crime when his mother falls victim to ruthless loan sharks. To protect his family, Jun-woo teams up with Hong Wo-jin, a tough but loyal fighter he meets in the boxing world. Together, they join forces with powerful, compassionate moneylender who secretly helps victims of debt. As they dive deeper into the brutal underworld, they come face to face with a cold and merciless loan shark empire that destroys lives for profit. What starts as a fight for the survival quickly turns into the full scale war. With fist, courage, and loyalty, Jun Woo and his allies risk everything to take down the corrupt system, protect the innocent, and prove that even in the world ruled by greed, humanity still fights back. After taking down the ruthless loan shark, Kunwu and Won Jin try to move forward, but peace does not last long. A global criminal syndicate running an illegal underground boxing league sets its sight on them. This is not just about money anymore. It's about control, power, and survival. As the syndicate drags them into a deadly game, their loved ones become target, forcing the two fights back into the ring. But this time the stakes are much higher. Every punch could mean life or death. With everything on the line, Gunwoo and Woonjin must fight harder than ever to protect the families, expose the syndicate, and survive a world where losing is not an option. Bloodhounds Season 2 2026. The complete casting guide, every actor, every character, and everything you need to know. The return of Korea's most explosive boxing drama. When Bloodhound first arrived on Netflix in June 2023, it did so with the force of a knockout punch. Based on Chan's immensely popular Never webtoon of the same name, the series blended gritty street level realism with some of the most technically impressive hand to hand combat sequences ever committed to Korean television. Audience around the world took notice immediately. The show climbed onto the Netflix top 10 in an extraordinary to 83 countries following its release, a testament not only to the quality of its action choreography but also to the emotional depth of its central character. Two young men from the vastly different background. who find purpose, brotherhood, and justice through their fists. 3 years passed. Fans wondered whether the series would continue, whether the world building would expand, and whether the chemistry between its lead could be recaptured. Then, on January 16, 2025, Netflix Korea officially confirmed what many had been hoping for. Bloodhounds would return for a second season, with Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-hee reprising their roles as the indomitable Kim Gon-woo and the fierce Hong Woo-jin. But the announcement did not stop there. One piece of casting news sent shockwaves through the Korean entertainment industry and beyond. Legendary K-pop superstar and veteran actor Jung Jae-hoon, universally known as Rain, would be joining the cast as primary villain, making his first ever antagonist role in over 2 decades of performing and acting. The internet responded with collective disbelief, excitement, and deeply curious question. Could one of Korea's most beloved and charismatic entertainer convincingly become the terrifying face of evil? Bloodhounds Season 2 premiered on April 3, 2026, dropping all the seven of its episodes simultaneously on Netflix in the tradition of modern themed storytelling. The verdict from audience was loud, enthusiastic, and immediate. The series drew viewers back in droves, delivering everything its fan craved: brutal action, emotional depth, complex villainy, and the cast firing on all the cylinders. The article offered a complete and thorough explanation of casting of Bloodhounds Season 2. We will examine every major actor, the character they portray, the performance they deliver, the histories in Korea and international entertainment, and what they bring to this landmark second chapter of the story. From the returning heroes to the terrifying new adversaries, this is the definitive guide to who's who in Bloodhound Season 2. The world of Season 2 at a glance. Before diving into the cast, it is worth understanding the narrative landscape into which these actors have stepped. Season 2 picks up approximately 3 years after event of the first season. Kim Gun-woo and Hong Woo-jin have successfully dismantled the predatory loan shark operation run by the ruthless Kim Myung-gil. They have survived, they have grown, they have emerged. If not unscathed, then certainly stronger and more determined. Gun-woo's dream of becoming a professional boxing champion has not dimmed. If anything, it burned brighter than ever. Woo-jin, his brother in all but blood, has transitioned from fellow fighter to devoted coach, channeling his own warrior instinct into the training the man he trusts the most. In the season opening episode, the dream briefly becomes reality. Gonwu claims a major championship, and then two of them stand together in the ring, soaking in the roar of the crowd. But victory in the world of bloodhoods is rarely permitted to last. A new and far more dangerous threat emerged in the form of Ambek Jung, a ruthless, money-obsessed operator who controls an illegal underground boxing organization known as IKFC, the Iron Knuckle Fighting Championship. Big John does not just want to fight Gunwu, he wants to consume him, to drag him down into the world of corruption, violence, and bloody money from which there is no escape. This is the story of season 2 tells. A story of two men who have already proven themselves willing to fight for what is right, now pushed to their absolute limits by a villain who operates on a different and altogether more terrifying level. Written and directed by Jason Kim, the same creative force behind the first season. Season 2 runs 7 episodes, each approximately 60 minutes in length. It carries an 18 plus content rating for graphic violence and strong language, and it has earned a score of 8.7 out of 10 on my drama list as of its release week. The main cast: Woo Do-hwan as Kim Gun-woo, main role. There is no Bloodhounds without Woo Do-hwan. As Kim Gun-woo, he is the heartbeat of the entire series, the moral compass, the emotional engine, the driving force who makes audience care whether he wins or loses, lives or dies. Woo Do-hwan was born on July 12, 1922 in Gimhae, South Korea. He began his acting career in 2014 and quickly built a reputation as one of the most versatile and compelling young actors in the Korean drama history. His career prior to Bloodhounds included acclaimed roles in a wide range of genres: the political thriller Mad Dog 2017, the romantic fantasy The King Eternal Month 2022, alongside Lee Min-ho, the legal drama Jason Attorney 2023, and the comedy Mr. Plankton 2024. More recently, he appeared made in Korea, further demonstrating his range. But it is as Kim Gun-woo that Woo Do-Hwan has arguably delivered the most physically demanding and emotionally layered performance. Gun-woo is not a typical K-drama protagonist. He is earnest to a fault, sometimes naively so. He possesses a childlike sincerity that sits in fascinating contrast with the devastating physical capability he demonstrates in the ring and on the street. What makes Gun-woo compelling is precisely this paradox. He is a young man who could hurt almost anyone, but who chooses consistently, painfully, at great personal cost not to. In season 2, Gun Woo has evolved. He is more technically refined as a boxer, moving with speed and precision that surpass what viewers witnessed in season 1. Critics and fans alike noted that Woo Do-Hwan appeared to have genuinely developed his boxing skill during the 3 year gap between production and the fight. Choreography in season 2 reflects a more mature, seasoned fighter at the peak of his abilities. His performance is also notably emotional. Some critics pointed out that Gun-woo cries more in season 2, which divided opinion, though most agreed that emotional rawness was in keeping with the character being pushed further than ever before. The physical transformation required for the role is extraordinary. Woo Do-hwan put in an immense work to look and move convincingly as world-class boxer, and every frame of the action sequence rewards that dedication. Whether he is delivering devastating combination in a personal a professional bout or fighting for his life in an underground league, he commands the screen with absolute authority. Lee Sang-hee as Hong Bo-jin, main role. If Voodoo Hwan is the great heart of Bloodhound, Lee Sang-hee is its soul. Hong Bo-jin is Kwon Woo's best friend, his most trusted ally, his chosen family, and in season 2, his dedicated coach and protector. The evolution of Woo Jin from fellow combatant to mentor figure is one of the most interesting character development in the series, and Lee Sang-hee navigates it with quiet authority. Lee Sang-hee was born on August 9, 1991 in Seoul. He is a classically trained actor who studied at the Korea National University of Arts and has built a reputation in both theater and screenplay. His television credits include Hometown Cha 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 2021, the beloved romantic drama that introduced him to the international audience. Once again, 2020, a family drama praised for its warmth, Special Labor Inspector Joe 2019, and the fantasy drama My Demon 2023. What Lee Sang-hee brings to Woo Jin is grounded physicality and developed emotional intelligence. Woo Jin is not a man who expresses himself easily in words. He expresses himself through action, through loyalty, through the way he puts himself between danger and the people he loves. In season 2, some viewers felt that Woo Jin was slightly nerfed compared to his first season self, that the shift from active fighter to coach reduced his impact in the certain action sequence. This is a reasonable critic, and the creative team seems to have made a deliberate choice to let Gun Woo take center stage in the ring, while Woo Jin operate in a different but equally important capacity. However, Lee Sang-hee ensured that Woo Jin's emotional presence is never diminished. The bond between the two leads remain the most compelling relationship in the show, and their dynamic, the earnest fighter and his stoic, watchful protector, continues to be the emotional engine that powered the every scene. Lee Sang-hee reportedly underwent significant physical training for the role, and like Woo Do-hwan, his commitment to authentic physicality is apparent throughout the season. Jung Ji-hoon, Rain as Ambik Jeong, main role. The casting of Rain as the main villain of the Bloodhound season 2 was without question the most talked about creative decision in show's history. For a performer with a 20 plus career built almost entirely on charisma, romance, and heroism, Rain's pivot to villainy was either an inspired gamble or bewildering masculine calculation. The answer, as an audience discovered when the season premiered, was emphatically the former Jung Ji-hoon, known worldwide as Rain, was born on 25 1982 in Seoul. He is one of the most recognizable and influential Korean entertainers ever to emerge from the peninsula. His music career, spanning decades, produced massive hits that cemented him as a foundational figure in the global spread of K-pop. Songs like Renism, It's Raining, and Nan become anthem, and his concert filled arenas across the Asia and beyond. He even has the rare distinction of appearing on an American pop culture radar through the Saturday Night live sketch with Stephen collaborated in the 2000s, in which both men jokingly competed for the Time magazine's most influential person title. As an actor, Rain worked extensively in Korean drama and film. His most notable acting credits include the romantic drama Full House 2024, considered as a classic of the Hello wave in the intense melodrama. A Love to Kill 2005, the Korean American film Ninja Assassin 2009, in which he played the lead. The Hollywood blockbuster Speed Racer 2008, the thriller Prince 2014, the medical drama Ghost Doctor 2022, and the most recent Red Swan 2024. In all these roles, Rain typically played the protagonist. The skilled, cool, often romantic hero playing a villain was genuinely unprecedented in his career. As Ambiguum, Rain delivered a performance that audience found both riveting and unsettling. Big Cheong is not a innocent, morally ambiguous antagonist with a tragic backstory that invites sympathy. He is force of nature, a man driven entirely by money and power, who deploy violence as casually as other might use words. His trademark move, as one popular reviewed note with dark humor, is threatening the families of whoever stand in his way. He has no origin story, no redemption arc on the horizon. He simply exists as an overwhelming, suffocating presence. Rain's physical transformation for the role was dramatic. His already formidable physique was further developed to make Big Cheong look genuinely threatening as a fighter, and the work paid off when Rain squares off against Woo Do-Hwan in the climatic confrontation. There is no suspension of disbelief required. Both men look like they could hurt each other. The fan response to Rain's performance was overwhelmingly positive. Audience comment on Asian Wiki and My Drama List repeatedly praised his screen presence, his commitment to the role, and the way he made Baek Jung feel genuinely dangerous rather than cartoonishly evil. Some fans even found themselves rooting for him despite themselves. Several viewers noted that his character's obsessive pursuit of Gun Woo took on an almost romantic overtone in its intensity, a detail in the writer may or may not have intended. One particularly notable review described Rain as purely evil and intimidating while also being all so consuming that the rest of the cast was somewhat overshadowed. This is perhaps the highest possible praise for a villain performance. Not that the villain is well acted, but that you cannot look away from them. Without spoiling the ending, the season concludes with a clever narrative twist involving Big Cheong's fate that leaves the door open for his return in a potential third season. A development many fans have enthusiastically welcomed. Returning support cast: Park Sang-woon as Kim Myung-gil. Park Sang-woon returns as Kim Myung-gil, the CEO of Smile Capital and the primary villain of the season 1. Myung-gil is the ruthless loan shark whose predatory operation formed the central conflict of the first season and whose defeat at the hand of Gun-woo and Woo-jin defined the original story resolution. His presence in the season 2 is more limited than in the first, but his shadow hangs over the narrative, particularly as his former associates make choices that impact the new season's plot. Park Sang-woon is one of the Korean cinema and television's most respected character actor. Born on January 15, 1974, he has appeared in dozens of films, dramas over a career spanning more than 2 decades. He is known for his ability to bring genuine nuance and complexity to morally compromised character, and his portrayal of Myoung-gil in the first season was widely praised for one of the show's strongest elements. Hyun Jong-ho as President Choi. Hyun Jong-ho returned as President Choi, listed in season 2 as President Choi on Rotten Tomatoes. The character's presence bridges the event of the first and second season, maintaining the sense of continuity with the world established in the original run. Hyun Jong-ho is the veteran of Korean Green Entertainment with an impressively filmography that includes the Oscar-winning film Parasite 2019, directed by Bong Joon-ho, as well as the series Mouse and the film The Wailing. His presence in any production is mark of quality, and his continued participation in Bloodhounds reinforce that show's commitment to surrounding its lead with genuinely talented performers. Kim Se-ron as Cha Hyun-jo. The inclusion of Kim Se-ron in Bloodhound Season 2 is notable for a reason that extended beyond the narrative. Kim Se-ron, who plays the character of Chae Hyun-jo, also romanized as Cha Hyun-jo, is former child actress who grew into one of the more accomplished young performers as of her generation, appearing in accomplished films such as A Brand New Life and The Man from Nowhere. Her career was severely impacted by a DUI incident in 2022, the same incident that led to another originally cast member being removed from the season 1 production, and her return to the screen in Bloodhounds season 2 represent a high anticipated comeback from many of her supporters. Several fan comment on Asian Wiki noted that not seeing Kim Se-ron in season 2 had been a source of sadness, suggesting that her inclusion may have been meaningful creative decision to welcome her back to the screen. Lee Hae-young as Hwang Yang-jung. Lee Hae-young returned as the cast in the role of Hwang Yang-jung. Her character appeared in season 1, providing a layer of support and connection to the world Gun-woo and Woo Jin navigate, and her continued presence in season 2 ensured narrative coherence of viewers who followed the first season closely. Choi Siwon as Hong Min-byung. Super Junior's Choi Siwon returned to reprise his role as Hong Min-byung introduced in season 1. Min-byung is described as a third-generation chaebol, the eldest son of the chairman of I Will Corporation and the Gangyong's younger cousin. In season 2, he is director of Lil Group and plays an increasingly important role as the plot intersects with Korean's National Intelligence Services NIS. Min Byung's relationship with his uncle, the director of NIS, became a significant plot point in the season's latter episode as the institutional response to Big Jong's Intergo boxing empire began to take shape. Choi Siwon, born February 10, 1986, is one of the most multi-talented figures in Korean entertainment. As a member of Super Junior, one of the pioneering K-pop group of the Hello Wave, he achieved global fame as a singer and performer. As an actor, he has demonstrated consistent charm and ability across range of genres. His trauma credits include Oh My Lady 2010, My Fellow Citizen 2019, Revolutionary Love 2017, and Love is for Suckers 2022. His return to Bloodhounds in season 2 is a crowd pleaser, and his character's evolution from peripheral rich kid to active participant in the fight against Big Chong gives him more to do narratively than in his first season. Lee Seon as Manbei. Lee Seon returned as Manbei, Big Cheong's most important minion and operational right hand. Manbei served as the grounded decision making counterweight to Big Cheong's volatile megalomania. As one character analysis put it, without Manbei's steadying influence, Big Cheong might have destroyed himself far sooner. Lee Seon has been a consistent presence in Korean television for many years, primarily in supporting roles, and Bloodhound Season 2 arguably gives him one of the most sustainable part to date. Yoon Yo-swan as Yoon So-yeon, Gun-woo's mother. Yoon Yo-sun returned in the role of Yoon So-yeon, Kim Gun-woo's mother in first season. So-yeon's debit crisis and her vulnerability to loan shark was inciting incident in the set that entire story in motion. Her presence in season 2 is smaller but significant, and her safety once again became a concern when Big Jeon, in characteristic fashion, target her as leverage against Gun-woo. Yoon Woo-sun is a respected veteran actress with a long career in Korean television, and she brings warmth and the authenticity to the character, who could easily be reduced to mere plot device. Tae Won-Seok as Kang In-byung. Tae Won-Seok returns as Kang In-byung, the convict who appeared in season 1 as one of the antagonists. His return in season 2 is significant. In-byung's grudge against the Gun-woo, whom he blames for his imprisonment, drives him to form an alliance with Byuk-chung. This partnership is noted as given ruffian and thug vibes rather than complex villainy, but in Byung's physical presence and barely contained fury make him credible secondary threat. Taiwan Seok's previous credit include the aptly named series villain, suggesting a certain comfort with morality corrupt roles. New cast addition Huang Chan-sung as Tai Gyum. One of the most visually striking addition to the Bloodhound Season 2 cast is Huang Chan-sung, better known by his stage name Chang-sung as the character Tai Gyum. The Tai Gyum is a member of Baek Jung's inner circle, a skilled martial artist who served as pivotal narrative function in the season's larger plot. Huang Chang-sung, born on February 11, 1990, is a member of the globally recognized K-pop group 2PM, one of the defining male group of the second generation of K-pop. His acting credits include the romantic comedy So I Married the Anti-Fan 2021, the workplace drama What's Wrong with the Secretary Kim 2018, the historical melodrama 7 Days Queen 2027, and the Netflix crime drama Vincenzo 2021. What makes Johnson casting interesting is the total shift in required from him. As one reviewer noted that he has been really been seen in lighter or more comedic roles. His serious appearance often played for contrast in those contexts. As Taegyong, however, he is required to be genuinely threatening and grim. The performance has been well received, and the fans have noticed that seeing him in a purely menacing role carrier is its own kind of job. Audience comment also picked out Tae Gyum as one of the most memorable secondary characters in the season, specifically pointing to his distinct fighting style, with one enthusiastic viewer comparing his movement to Jackie Chan. His role in Baekjung operation and the way his character affect the season's endgame are noteworthy, though details are best left for the viewers to. Park Hoon as Moon Gwan-mo. Park Hoon joins the cast in the role of Moon Gwan-mo is a supporting character who appeared throughout the season. Park Hoon is a Korean actor with presence in both film and television, and his addition brings further depth to the show's ensemble. Park Yan-hee as Kang Tae-young. Park Yan-hee appeared as Kang Tae-young as character whose connection to the world of Bloodhound run deeper than the initially appeared. Sharp-eyed viewers who rewatched or recently watched season 1 may recognize Tae-young as a member of the cybercrime investigation team that Manbei wrote in to capture the Kim Myong-gil and his association. Her reappearance in season 2 represents a meaningful continuity thread, giving attentive viewers the satisfaction of placing her within the established history of the show. Tai Young becomes the increasingly important figure in the season's plot, gradually becoming part of Wonwoo and Woo Jin's extended team. Park Yeoni has appeared in the Korean production Jenny, a Make-A-Wish S-Line and celebrity, and her performance in A Bloodhound has been described as a natural fit for the show's intense atmosphere. Choi Yong-jon as Kang Yong. Choi Yong-jon appeared in the role of Kang Yong, a supporting character within the season's expanding roster. Details about his character's function in the story are somewhat limited in available sources, but his inclusion in the ensemble reflects the show's commitment to populating its world with the well-cast secondary player. Cha Ji-hyuk as Woo Jun. Choi Ji-hyuk takes on the role of Woo Jung as a character connected to the broader network of fighters and operatives in the season's underground boxing. Lee Myung-ro appears as the intriguingly named character Alan, who has attracted attention from viewers for his memorable visual presentation, apparently featuring green hairs, and his place between Big Chung organization. One audience member noted with amusement that the show never explicitly explained why Alan is a part of group, though his presence is felt throughout. Despite the limited exposure around the character, Lee Myung-ro's portrayal appears to have made an impression. Ha Jin Chil, Choi Yon Ho, and other supporting players. The season featured a number of additional supporting performers that contribute to the texture of realism of the world. Ha Jin Chil appeared in a police-related role, adding to the show's deception of institutional response that is often outmatched by the speed and brutality of the criminal operation it faces. Choi Yon Ho appeared as the dermatologist in what appeared to be more peripheral role. Bae Joon Hae appeared as a VIP guest celebrity, while Wo Chong Hao takes an role of an homicide detective. These performances, while not headlining role, help to populate the show's world with recognizable character type rendering with enough detail to feel real. International cast members. Bloodhound Season 2 continued the first season's practice of including international cast members to reflect the global nature of the underground boxing world it depicts. The IKFC is not a local operation, it is an international league with the sponsor and participant from the multiple countries. Daniel Joy Albright appeared as Ayn, a foreign character connected to the league's operation. Mitch Kirgar appeared as bodyguard, reflecting the international muscle that Big John can call upon. John D. Michaels appeared as the coach, contributing to the authentic atmosphere of the underground boxing world. Robert Emry also features the season's international roster, and Naji Virus round out the non-Korean cast contingent. The inclusion of these performers speaks to the production's ambition of deception genuinely global criminal enterprise rather than one contained within a Korean setting. The show's action travel across location and cultures, and the international cast had to make that expansion feel credible. Notable cameo appearance: Park Seo Joon as Choi Sin Hyun, premiere episode 6 to 7. Among the most celebrated casting relevation of Bloodhound Season 2 is the cameo appearance of Park Seo Joon in episode 6 and 7, playing a National Intelligence Service Black Ops agent who operates under the codename Premium. Park Seo Joon is one of the biggest stars in the Korean entertainment, known internationally through the romance drama What's Wrong with the Secretary Game 2018, the hit film Parasite 2019, in which he played the romantic lead opposite Park Seo Dam, and the Disney Plus series She Was Pretty, among many other projects. His appearance in Bloodhounds Season 2 was genuine surprise for audience, generating significant online discussion and excitement. The NIS Black Ops storyline, which developed in the season's final two episodes, provided the institutional muscle needed to confront Bake Joon Network. Park Seo-joon's premium is skilled, efficient operative, and his cameos serve both a narrative function and fan service function, giving audience a thrilling bonus appearance from one Korean entertainment's most charismatic figure. Kim Jin-young as Han Seol-gi. Powerful. Kim Jin-young appeared alongside Park Seo-jin as Han Seol-gi, a newly joined NIS Black Ops agent operating under the codename Powerful. Together, Premium and Powerful form a formidable pair whose involvement in the season endgame provide Platoon with some of its most energetic late episode action sequence. Kim Jong Young's casting as the younger, less experienced agent who is still proving herself at a dynamic mentorship and development to NIS storyline. Dex, Korean internet celebrity and fitness personality Dex, known for his imposing physique and charismatic screen presence, make a cameo appearance in the season. Dex has appeared in Korean reality program and has cultivated a large following through social media. His cameo in Bloodhound is in keeping with the show's tendency to feature recognizable face in supporting and peripheral roles. Ryu So Young as Lee Do Young. In episode 6 to 7, Ryu So Young returned as Lee Do Young as a character from season 1 whose fate had been left ambiguous. Many viewers assumed Do Young had been killed by Myung Gil along with his family in the first season, making his return with the finale a moment of genuine surprise. His reappearance is connected to the plot point involving Myung Gil's earlier promise, and his participation in the final episode's rescue mission provides an emotionally resonant conclusion to the character thread that had been left open since season 1. Additional cameo roles. The season features several of other brief but noteworthy appearances. Kang Shin Lip appear as Hugh Chang Ho and the chief of Gunsan Gymnasium in the final episode, but Jo Hyun Ji appeared as Myung Hwan, described as being senior to Kang Yeon and Woo Jung Park. Sung Joon take on the role of Jung Hae Ji, the director of the Investigation Bureau of the National Investigation Headquarters. Lee Seol appeared as an NIC agent with the codename Inside. Lee Hyun Wook round off that late season edition as a Kang Hee Gwan, a staff sergeant of 17th Special Forces Bridge Special Force Battalion. Each of these performances, however brief, reflect the show's commitment to the populating every corner of its world with popular cast actors who understand the tone and register the production demand. Behind the camera, the creative team, Jason Kim, writer and director. Jason Kim returned to write and direct all the episodes of Bloodhound Season 2. His vision for the series has remained consistent: high intensity action grounded in emotional authenticity, character defined by their relationship rather than skills alone, and a moral framework that asks hard questions about justice, loyalty, and the limit of what one person can endure for the sake of another. At the press conference held at the Ambassador Seoul Pluman Hotel ahead of the season's premiere, Kim described the season's core ambition in straightforward terms. Season 2 was about two main characters meeting new adversaries and fighting more fiercely than before. The simplicity of purpose pushes the character harder, raise the stakes higher, and never lose sight of the friendship at the center of everything is evident throughout the season's 7 episode. Kim's direction in season 2 has been widely praised for the equality of the action choreography. The fight sequences are more varied, more technically impressive, and more emotionally textured than those of the first season. Reviewer Ruchika Bhatt of Digital Mafia Talkies noted that the action sequence generally had her wondering whether the lead actor had spent 3 years between the production developing their boxing skills, which is perhaps the most meaningful compliment a fight centric drama direction can receive. Production team Kwon Mi Kyung and Park Joon Ho, producer. The production Bloodhound Season 2 was overseen by producer Kwon Mi Kyung and Park Joon Ho, whose work ensured that the elevated ambition of the second season were met with the appropriate resource and logistic support. The show's expanded scope, incorporating international cast member, elaborate underground boxing venue, and action sequence that rival production value of theatrical feature require coordination at a high level, and season's polished presentation is a testament to effective producing. Physical transformation, the athletes behind the character. One of the most discussed aspects of Bloodhound Season 2 is the sheer physical commitment demonstrated by the leading cast member. This is not a show where actors are shot from careful angle to disguise as a lack of genuine athletic capability. The fight sequence require actual skill, stamina, and physical expression that cannot be faked through editing alone. Woo Do-Hwan reportedly dedicated enormous portion of the 3 year gap between seasons to boxing training, and the results are apparent on screen. His movement in season 2 is noticeably more fluid, more technically sound, and more expressive of the character who has been training obsessively. His footwork, his combination speed, and his ability to absorb and return punishment all feel authentic in a way that elevate the action sequence from mere spectacle to genuinely tense physical drama. Lee Sang-gi too underwent a significant physical transformation process to play Wu Jin convincingly, even in a coaching capacity. Wu Jin remained physically formidable, and Lee's commitment to the physical reality ensured that his character never loses the sense of danger and capability that defined him in season 1. Rain's physical preparation for the role of Baek Jun was perhaps the most striking transformation of all. Rain has always been known for maintaining an exceptional physique, but the demand of playing a character who is convincingly threatening to trained professional boxer required him to develop his body and his movement in specific purposeful ways. The result is a villain who looks genuinely capable of the violence he threatened. Audience responses and critical reception. Bloodhound Season 2 arrived to enthusiastic audience reception as of its release week on the show had a score of 8.7 out of 10 on my drama list based on more than 6,000 user rating, a strong endorsement from the show's dedicated fanbase. On Rotten Tomatoes, the season earned an 84% popcornmeter score from audience rating, with critical reviews acknowledging the season's strength while noting some minor structural limitation comparing to the first season. Reviewer Charles Hartford, but why not though, a Greek community gave the season 7.5 out of 10, calling it fast, action-packed race from start to finish, while noting that it did not quite reach the same intensity as its predecessor. Ruchika Bhatt of Digital Mafia Turkey gave it 3 out of 5, focusing that extraordinary physicality of the lead performance. Fan comment across Asian Wiki and My Drama List painted the more complex picture. The majority respondents were enthusiastic, citing the action sequence, Rain's villain performance, and the core friendship between the lead as standout element. Some expressed frustration with that what they perceived as Wu Dujin's reducing fight role compared to the first season. Others felt that Gun Wu cried too frequently, making the character's emotional journey feel uneven. But the overall tone of fan discussion was positive, with many already calling it for a season 3. The legacy cast connection to the Navier webtoon. Bloodhound is an adapted from a Navier webtoon by Jeong Chan, published between May 16, 2019 and December 2020. The webtoon established the core character, the moral universe, and the action and aesthetic that the television series has built upon. Fans of the original source material have generally been enthusiastic about the adaptation's fidelity to the spirit of the webtoon, even as it takes liberties with the specific plot point and character trajectories. The casting of Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-hee in particular was widely praised for capturing the essential qualities of Gun Woo and Woo Jin as rendered in the source material. Rain's Big Jump expanded the Beyond Webtoon villain roster into the new territory, bringing the freshness to season 2 that rewarded fans both original material and the television adaptation. Theme of casting: K-pop star as dramatic actor. One of the most interesting meta narrative running through the Bloodhound season 2 is its engagement with the broader K-pop to acting pipeline that has defined Korean entertainment for the past 2 decades. The cast includes current and former members of some of the K-pop's most significant group. Rain, a solo artist who is foundational figure of early K-pop. Choi Si-won, Super Junior, a Hwang Chan-sung, 2 p.m., alongside conventionally trained actors like Woo Do-hwan and Lee Sang-gi. What Bloodhounds demonstrate compellingly is that distinction matters less than the work. All three K-pop figures in the cast deliver performances that are entirely appropriate to the show's demand. Rain, in particular, delivered a performance that challenges any preconception that K-pop stars are limited to light, romantic, or comedic roles. His Big Jeong is a proof that given the right material and the right creative environment, performer from the music industry can deliver dramatic work, genuine power. Cho Si-won's evolution across the 2 seasons from peripheral chaebol to active participant in a high-stakes NIS operation mirrored the evolution of his screen presence, and Chung-sung serious menacing Tae show a dimension of the performer that fan of 2 p.m.'s variety appearance may not have anticipated. Season 2 in context. What it means for the future. The ending of Bloodhound Season 2 clearly positioned the story for continuation. The NIS's decision to transform Baek Chung into one of its own agent A bloodhound in the darkest irony the show has yet produced set up a season 3 narrative in which the villain and the heroes may find themselves operating in far more complicated relationship to one another. The introduction of new villain in the final episode further suggests that the show's creative team has a larger canvas in mind. As of April 4, 2026, no official confirmation of the third season had been announced. Netflix was reportedly assessing the reception of season 2 before making a renewal decision. Given the show's strong viewership number and the enthusiastic fan response, the outlook for a third season appeared positive. The cast, for their part, have expressed enthusiasm for the story's continuation. Rain's portrayal of Big Chung has generated so much interest that many fans have specifically requested his return in third season, whether as a villain, reluctant ally, or something more complicated still. Conclusion. A cast that more than delivered Bloodhound Season 2 is at its core a celebration of physical and dramatic performance. It asks at cost to commit fully, physically, emotionally, and creatively to a story that demands everything they have and to an extraordinary degree. Every member of the ensemble rise to meet that demand. Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-hee continue to be one of the most compelling lead pairing in Korean television. Their chemistry ripened and enriched by 3 years of storytelling and 3 years of apparent personal growth in their craft. Rain's arrival as the season's center villain is genuine revelation, a career-defining performance that silences and skepticism about whether a K-pop legend can play truly dark material. The supporting cast from Choi Si-won evolving Chaibol Har to Chang Sung grim material artist from Park Seo-joon, electrifying cameo to the quiet dignity of Young Yo, Sun maternal presence contribute to a fully realized world in which every character feels purposeful. Director Jason Kim has delivered a season that is faster, darker, and more brutal than in many ways more emotionally demanding than its predecessor. The show does not coast on the goodwill generated by season 1. It earned its place as a worthy continuation of a story that began with two young men stepping into a dangerous world and refusing to look away. For fans of Bloodhound, the casting of season 2 is not merely a collection of names and credits, it is the promise that the people bringing this story to life understanding what it is, respect what it means to its audience, and are willing to put their bodies, their reputation, and their performance on the line to honor their understanding. The Bloodhound are still running, and with the cast at committed, there is reason to believe that season 3, should it come, will be worth the wait. When the first season, Bloodhound, arrived on Netflix on June 9, 2023, few could have predicted the magnitude of the phenomena it would become. A gritty, fist first tale of two young boxers standing against the predatory loan shark underworld of contemporary Seoul. The show transcended genre convention and captured audience across more than 80 countries. 3 years later, after a production genre marked a scenery, meticulous preparation, and casting curve that sent shockwaves through the Korean entertainment industry. Bloodhound Season 2 stepped back into the ring on April 3, 2026. What followed was a global streaming surge, passionate critical engagement, and renowned conversation about the extraordinary power of Korean action drama on the world stage. This article tells the complete story of that second season from the earliest whisper of its development through the grueling month of filming in the street of Seoul to its triumphant arrival on the screen worldwide and the balance of critical opinion that greeted it. Production Bloodhound Season 2 is a South Korean action thriller drama series produced by the studio and in cooperation with the Ghost Studio. It continues the story of two young martial artists and former Marine, Kim Yeon-woo and Hong Woo-jin, who is the first season dismantled a ruthless loan shark empire centered on a predatory financial organization known as Smile Capital. The series is based on the novel webtoon of the same name written by drawn by Jung Chan, a source material that gave show its raw kinetic energy and its deeply human emotional underpinning. The production was brought back under the stewardship of director Kim Jong-hwan, who also served as the lead scriptwriter, ensuring full creativity continuity between the two seasons. Kim is filmmaker celebrated for his ability to fuse the explosive physical action sequence with nascent character development, and his approach to Blue Bloodhound, both in its original run and in the new season, bears his unmistakable authorial fingerprint, word frame choreography that privileges legibility over chaos, and a narrative rhythm that uses the violence as an emotional language rather than spectacle for its own sake. Under this direction, the production aspired to expand every dimension of the first season. The scale was broader, the adversary darker, and the emotional stake more personal. Where season 1 confirmed its moral university to the street and back office of the Seoul underground landing economy. Season 2 reaches into the global criminal underground, specifically an illegal international boxing league, a setting that demanded both the internationalist visual sensibility and a new caliber of antagonist. The journey toward the second season of The Bloodhound began with the success of the first. Upon its debut in June 2023, the original season rapidly climbed Netflix global chart, entering the top 10 in the over 80 countries and logging approximately 28 million viewing hours in its first week alone. According to the Pixel Patrol data, it ranked as the ninth most popular Korean drama on Netflix across all the 2023. A remarkable performance for a show that had launched with a relatively little pre-release fanfare outside Korea. Its first five appearances in Netflix Global Top 10 from June 4 July to July 9, 2023 confirmed its status as a genuine breakout phenomena rather than regional curiosity. The appetite for a continuation was immediate and vocal from the fan base. The first formal indication that second season was being considered came through Korean sport and entertainment outlet Sports Seoul, where the journalist Kim Hyun-seok reportedly early sign of the renewal. The news was initially praised on Spotify but confirmed the essential fact. Netflix and the production team was discussing bringing the story back. The outlet report noted that the lead actor Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-gi, whose on-screen chemistry had become one of the defining players of the season 1, were expected to return. The official green light came on January 16, 2025, when Netflix Korea publicly confirmed that production of season 2. This announcement was significantly not only for the renewal itself but for what it signaled about the casting. Netflix simultaneously confirmed that both Woo Do-hwan and Lee Sang-gi would reprise the role as Kim Jong-woo and Hong Bo-jin respectively, and in a piece of casting news that sent shockwaves through the Korean entertainment circle, that veteran singer-actor Rain Jung Ji-hoon had been cast in the role for the season's primary antagonist, Baek Jung. This was the Rain's first ever villain role in the career spanning 20 years, with principal photography concluding around April 2025 and series releasing on April 3, 2026. The post-production window for Bloodhound Season 2 encompassed approximately 12 months, a generous timeline by streaming standard that suggests their production team was committed to delivering work that met the elevated expectations surrounding the season's return. The editing of the season was guided by the same aesthetic principle that defined season A1, preference for clarity and legibility in the action sequence, with editorial choices that privilege spectral coherence over the kinetic fragmentation that characterized much contemporary action television. Director Kim Jo-hwan's instinct to keep audience oriented within the physical geography of fight sequence, to understand who is where, what is at stake, and what each blow cost the people throwing and receiving it, manifested in post-production choices that resisted the temptation to accelerate coverage in a way that would obscure the considerable athletic skill being exhibited on camera. The visual effect work in season 2 was more ambitious than the first season, reflecting both the increasing production budget and the larger canvas of the new narrative. The sequence set within the world of the IKFC Underground League required environmental enhancement and crowd augmentation that went beyond what was achievable purely on the practical set. At the same time, the show's core commitment to the practical ground detection meant that visual effects were developed, deployed to support and enhance physical performance rather than replace it, a philosophical consistent extension of the production's approach to authenticity. Color grading continued with the palette established in the season A1, a world of high contrast where the bright, almost overexposed daylight of Seoul Street sit in the tension with the deep, overshadowed interior of criminal operation and undergoing areas. This visual grammar served the thematic content effectively. The clean and legible world of Kyun Woo's legitimate boxing career rendered in one register. The murky, dangerous world of the IKFC rendered in the quiet and other. Episode structure. The decision in to structure season 2 as the 7 episode run compared to the 8 episode of season 1 was notable creative choice. Some critics would later suggest that the tighter episode count contributed to a later rinse repeat narrative rhythm, with the season described by one thoughtful reviewer as essentially 7 rounds of good versus evil. However, the same compact structure was praised by others for the relentless pacing it enabled. Every episode advanced the central conflict. There is a little to no narrative padding, and the show commit fully to its being watch architecture. All seven episodes released simultaneously on Netflix on April 3, 2026, allowing the audience to consume the complete story in a single extended viewing session if they choose. The episode that received the most individual attention and critical discussion was episode 4, which reportedly introduced a crime noir visual and tonal register that developed briefly and effectively from the show's typical action thriller mode. The finale also attracted significant praise, with the reviewers noting that it corrected one of the perceived weaknesses of season 1. A final episode that felt to some viewers rushed to inconsistent with the preceding episode's quantity by delivering a climax that was, in the word of one enthusiastic assessment, extremely hard hitting and action packed through the final showdown between Baekhyun and Gunho. Music. The musical identity of Bloodhound has been one of its quietly distinctive qualities since the first season, where a combination of the original score and carefully selected needle drop helped definite the show's kinetic atmosphere. Season 2 continued this approach with the soundtrack prioritized the match and amplified the season's heightened register of violence, determination, and emotional stake. The original story for the series was designed to complement the visual vocabulary of the show's action sequence using precursive rhythmically driving musical foundation that reflect the boxing context, music as footwork as the internal tempo of fighters' physical and psychological preparation. The scoring philosophy echoes the show's broader aesthetic commitment. The music serves the story rather than decorating it, and its most effective moments are those where the score seems to breathe with the same rhythm as the fighters working throughout a combination. Season two's soundtrack drew notable interest from audience, with a fan-curated playlist appearing on major streaming platforms within the days of show's April 3 release. Spotify saw the emergence of multiple Bloodhound Season 2 Netflix soundtrack playlists compiling music from and inspired by the series. The organic fan engagement with the music, a continuation of the first season soundtrack community, which had accumulated hundreds of the saves on similar playlists, speak to the degree of which the show audio identity resonated with its audience at some distinctive and worth preserving. The integration of Rain's musical identity as a permanent K-pop and R&B artist who into the show's overall sonic world was topic of interest among the fans through the series carefully maintained the distinction between the role as an actor and his career as musician. Lee Jung is defined by the physical menace and psychological darkness, not by musical association with the rain. The artist discipline with which the production kept these persons separate was itself a mark of seriousness with which a rich villain performance was convinced and executed. For the first season, the song Born for This by American rock band The Score became particularly associated with the show's action-driven spirit, circulating widely on social media and the fan-created content. Season 2 primarily generated a rich ecosystem for the fan-produced musical content with the numerous fan edits pairing the show's fight sequence with original and licensed music, extending the show's cultural life well beyond the screen. Release Theoretical. Bloodhound Season 2 was produced and distributed exclusively as a Netflix original series and did not receive a theatrical release. This is a consistent with Netflix standard distribution model for its Korean drama slate, in which the streaming platform serves as the primary and exclusive window for original content. The Stimulant's worldwide release of all seven episodes on April 3, 2026 was deliberately strategic choice, maximizing global cultural impact by ensuring that audience in every Netflix territory could engage with the show at the same time. A model that has proven particularly effective for Korean drama, where the conversation between domestic Korean audience and the international fandom tend to generate significant promotional energy. The decision to release all the episodes simultaneously rather than on weekly schedule was notable, while some of the critics noted that the being released model can work against the development of week-to-week anticipation and cultural discussion. For Bloodhound, a series built around unrelenting narrating movement beyond the additivity quality of its action sequence at all once model appear to have served the show's strength effectively. Audience who might have found it difficult to sustain engagement across a week-long weekly drop were instead able to surrender completely to the show's propulsive rhythm over a single extended viewing experience. Promotional activity ahead of the April 3 release was extensive and carefully managed. Netflix unveiled new action productions till on March 27, 2026, approximately 1 week before the premiere, drawing immediate attention for their explosive intensity. The official trailer released in the lead up to the premiere confirmed the visual upgrade of the fan media has speculated about offering closer preview of the season's fight choreography and establishing Rain's villain credential in the series' chilling frame that set the social media alight with the discussion. A press conference held in Seoul on March 31, 2026, attended by Rain, Woo Do-Hwan, and Lee Sang-gi, provided the international entertainment media with the most extensive look yet. The creative team began for the new season. Photographs from the event include a wide image shot taken by photographer Han Myung-go circulated widely across entertainment coverage. The event allowed the principal cast to speak publicly about their preparation, their experience during the filming, and the hope of the season, generating a final wave of emotional excitement in the days immediately before the global release. Review 1. Kun Woo, Woo Do-Hwan, and Woo Jin Lee Sang-gi are all set to come back to our screen with another thrilling performance. The two actors who previously impressed viewers with their portrayal in Bloodhounds released in 2023 are repairing their role for the major release this year. The Netflix production has confirmed its premiere on April 3. In newly released trailer from OTT platform, the two lead could seen returning as their beloved character. After taking down a major loan shark ring in the first season, the duo is back to fight against a new threat, Big Chunk Rain in season 2. He runs an underground boxing league which involves many strong players who aim for the top spot and money that come along with it. Soon he becomes under the radar of Gon Woo as aspiring boxer and Woo Jin who acts as his personal coach. Wanting to take down the duo, he unleashes a meticulous plan to render them powerless in his league which they fight furiously. Amid their plan to take down the illegal scheme, they also develop their camaraderie even as external power threaten to weaken their bond. The two are unbroken and join hand against the antagonist, again, once again doing good in the world in Bloodhound Season 2. Check out the teaser below. Woo Do-Hwan was last seen in Made in Korea alongside Hwan Bin and Jung Woo-sung. His next project is all set to be knock off with Kim Soo-hwan and Joo Bo-ah, but its release has been put on hold owing the former personal life scandal. He will then star in Made in Korea Season 2. Aiming for the release later this year, meanwhile, Lee Sang-gi will make a cameo in Boyfriend on Demand and will next appear in a guest role for The Legend of the Kitchen Soldier. Review 2. Discover anything about Kang Tae-young in the new season of the hit Netflix action drama. Explore her crucial role as brave police officer, her budding romance, and her fight against a ruthless dark web underground boxing syndicate. Bloodhound Season 2 has officially arrived, bringing the intense action back to the screen. The highly anticipated sequel series premiered globally on Netflix on April 3. Fan can now stream all the new episodes exclusively on the popular streaming platform. This new chapter dives deep into the much darker criminal underworld. The story follows the heroic duo as they face the Iron Knuckle Fighting Championship as a deadly dark web boxing ring run by very ruthless new villain. So, who is Tai Young Bloodhounds Season 2? The character is played by Park Yin. She is brave police officer returning to assist the protagonist. This character becoming crucial in their dangerous battle against the brutal new underground illegal betting syndicate. Who is Tai Young? Kang Tai Young is dedicated police officer bringing the justice to the gritty narrative. After being injured in the first season, her daring return is powerful. Her prior trauma inspired her determination to overthrow the cartels. She became Kim Gon-woo and Hong Woo-jin's ally, played excellently by Park Yen. Her law enforcement expertise provide the crime fighting consider information, tactical resources, and strategic support. Watching Blood Won Season 2 will show her importance. Tai Young regularly guide heroic through dark web networks. She is crucial to following ultraviolet iron knuckle fight championship which endanger innocent lives. Her perspective her preservance make her invincible investigating the dark web syndicate in Bloodhound Season 2. As the plot thickened, the Tai Young used her specialized police skill to uncover the hidden financial trail of the massive 4 million viewer bankrolling in the elite matches. She tirelessly worked behind the scene to bypass the signal jamming device using the ruthless villain. Her deep understanding of cybercrime proved absolutely essential in breaking down the enemy defenses. Her unwavering commitment ensured that Gun Wu and Wu Jin are never fighting entirely alone, solidifying her status as a standout character. A blossoming romance and key alliance beyond her heavy professional duties, Tai Young adds significant emotional depth to the fast-paced story. The narrative carefully explores a beautifully budding romance between her and the passionate Marine Hong Wo-jin. This romantic relationship offers a heartwarming, soft contrast to the horrific violence of the bleak reality surrounding them. The stakes in the Bloodhounds Season 2 are incredibly high, with losers of the underground matches facing terrifying organ extraction or fatal disposal. Amidst is this utter chaos, Tai Young ground the heroic emotionally her growing bond with Wu Jin effectively highlight the massive personal risk involved, showing that the characters are fighting for the love and survival alongside justice. Other cast member of Bloodhounds Season 2, the action-packed sequel balances familiar faces with newcomers Woo Do-Hwan shine against as a humble, explosive boxer. Kim Don-woo, Lee Sang-hee deliver the charisma as his loyal friend, and coach Woo Jin, actor Rain, make this villainous debut as I'm Big Chung, chilling leader of the global betting league. From Bloodhound Season 2, Choi Si-woon plays strategic Min Byung, Lee Si-yeon play main Bi, Tai Won-seok, Choi Young-jeon, Yeon Yeon-sun, Park Hon, Hwang Chan-sung, Cha Ji-hyuk, and Lee Myung-ro. Dex and suspected Park Seo-joon Kemo will embellish the dark, gritty action universe. Review 3. When Bloodhound hit Netflix in 2023, the pandemic set Korean drama was about to prepare amateur boxer who takes down a loan shark operation was satisfying as it was violent. The series centered the bromance between Jeonwoo, Mr. Plankton's Woo Do-Hwan, and Woo Do-jin, good boys Lee Sang-ji, injecting what is essentially a brutal crime drama with their sometimes silly, always heartwarming camaraderie. If these boys were left to their own devices, they would live out their days happily training for boxing matches and eating Gyeonwoo's mom's home-cooked dinner. Unfortunately, the world does not want to leave Gyeonwoo and Woo Jin alone. They may have defeated Kim Myung-ji in season 1, but there is always another villain in season 2. That villain is Big Jung, played by K-pop Iron Rain. Big Jung is a vicious boxer who runs the IKFC, the underground fight club watched by millions of the Bitcoin playing users on the dark web. When the Byeok Jeong becomes the fixated on getting Jeon Woo to fight him and Jeon Woo refuses, things escalate. Big Jeong spent most of the season 7 episode trying to kidnap Young Seo Jeon, Yoon Yo son, Jeon Woo's mother, as way to convince the honorable boxer to face him. Big Jeong and his gaggle of minions finally succeeded the penultimate episode, setting the stage for bloody final battle. Here, how Bloodhound season 2 box its way to brutal conclusion. Bloodhound Assemble. In episode 6, Baek Jeong is captured by the police, made possible by the betrayal of his right hand man, Tai Gyung Hwang Chan Sung. But Baek Jeong has another ally whose loyalty is most granted in Baek Jeong's very deep pocket. Man Bae Lee Seon used his Bloodhound Chartrum to offer a reward for any mercenary who helps bring Baek Jeong from police custody. The tactic worked with a small army of bloodhounds, surprising and overpowering the transport by the way of police headquarters. In the scramble, Baek Jeong killed the Taegyeom and police officer and leave Detective Gangyeong Choi Yongjeon in critical condition. Advertisement. Meanwhile, another gaggle of bloodhounds successfully overpowered the bloody bodyguard who have been tasked with the keeping Son Yoon aka Jun Woo's mom out of Big Jong's clutches. Woon Jin tries to fight them off, but season 1 adversary I am beyond. The Tae Won-Seok overpowered Jun Woo's best friend rather than see Won Jin beaten further, so Yeon agrees to go with I'm beyond. Heading into the final episode, Jeon Woo and Won Jin's side has been decimated, so Yeon is kidnapped. Everyone is injured. Gang Young who has been leading police operation in serious condition. Min Byung Jeon Woo's Chiabot ally and eventually friend from season 1 is willing to do anything to rescue So Yeon and bring Big Jeong in. He asks his uncle who heads NIS for some help. This bring NIS agent Shin Hyung Jeosang creatures Park Seo-joon into the mix. Shin Hyung suggests that the Min Byung lure Big Jung out with the promise of winner takes all fight with Jeon Woo. Du Young returned from the dead in season 1. Jeong Wook's sashimi knife wielding comrade Du Young was simply murdered by Myung Lee alongside his pregnant wife as I released in episode 7. Du Young survived and from the look of his phone background, so did his wife and his kid. He has been living out the past 4 years as bloodhound for hire when an injured Mongyu Do Moo Park Home reaches out to Du Young to let him know that Jun Woo and Woo Jin need his help. He comes. Du Young's reappearance is much needed morale boost for the Gyun Woo and Won Ji who are still reeling after Gyun Woo's mom's kidnapping. Du Young also brings a particular skill that the group does not have. The willingness to torture someone. He finds Big Young doctor and forces information out of him, namely the number for man-based burner phone which allow them to contact Big Young. Big Jung agrees to fight and Woo Jin suggests they raise the stake to a two fair. Jeon Woo and Won Jin versus Big Jung and Ambyong. If Big Jung and Ambyong win, they will get 100 billion won, roughly 66 million, in prize money and private jet to Thailand. If Jeon Woo and Won Jin win, then his mother goes free advertised. Woo Do-Hwan and Jung Ji-hoon, courtesy of Netflix. A final showdown between Jeon-woo and Big Jung. To train for the fight, Jeon-woo and Won-jin manage to track down the man who taught Big Jung everything he knows. The coach explained how to counter Big Jung's ambidextrous fighting style, and the boys spent their remaining time training. Heading into the fight, Woo Jin suggests to Jeon-woo that they surprise Big Jung by switching the matchup. Won Jin will face Baekjeong and Jun Woo will face Ambyon. Won Jin does not expect to beat Baekjeong, but he thinks he can wear him down enough to give Jun Woo a better chance to take him down after. The crazy plan worked. Won Jin managed to hold his own against Baekjeong, weakening him before Jun Woo take over. Jun Woo, who is able to soundly defeat Ambyon first, is able to knock Baekjeong out. Meanwhile, Do Young slaughter an entire building of Bloodhound in the search of So Yeon. He does not find her but realizes she is being kept in a building next door. The information allowed Kok Woo Jung Cha Ji Hyuk to rescue So Yeon, shooting and killing Man Bei in the process. Big Jung is disappeared, unwilling to leave Big Jung in the slippery hand of the police. Once again, Man Byung arranged it so that Shin Hyung and his NIS comrades snatch Big Jung from the cops before they can get to the police station. Throw Shin Hyung and send Min Byung to a photo of Big Jung with a bullet through his head. It is a ruse. As we learn in the season's epilogue, Shin Hyung and faked Big Jung's death. He wanted the man alive so that they can facilitate an introduction with the man who helped start the IKFC. Word on the street is that is mysterious man. Patrick Chenta is Chiachen is planning on bringing a massive amount of drugs into the country soon. You help me, I help you. Sin Hyung tells Big Jung though it's an unclear what this help might look like. Jun Woo and Woo Jin live happily ever after, kind of, until next season. The two are back home with Soo Yeon, but they are still plagued by nightmare and the fear that something like this might happen again. Over a late night ramen, Jeon-woo tells Moonjin that he wants to start training to face bloodhounds. The assumption is that one day they will get pulled back into the high scared scenario in which they must protect their loved ones from villain with an army of mercenaries at his disposal. And if season 2 of Bloodhound does well on Netflix, something tell me that Jeon-woo's fear could come true. Let's check another review. Kim Gun-woo and Hong Wo-jin, our favorite boxing bromance or bromelo, as coined by Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-hee themselves, are geared up for another emotionally stirring knockout punch in Bloodhound Season 2. But this time, the stakes are even higher than usual. Gunwoo and Wojin have their work out for them when they are pitted against Ambition Rain, the notorious yet mysterious owner of IKFC, an illegal underground boxing league, who is hell-bent on pulling Gunwoo into his shady business. While Gunwoo and Woo-jin are determined to take down their new anchor messes by themselves, their loved ones actively get involved one by one, putting their lives in harm's way. The feisty duo have to risk it all once again to put an end to Big Jeong's tyranny. The question arises, are Gunwoo and Woo Jin able to defeat Big Jeong? Bloodhounds Season 2 Ending Explainer. Who dies in Bloodhounds Season 2? Before Bloodhounds Season 2's glory finale, Big Jeong, who was arrested, is able to flee thanks to Lee Manby, Lee Si-yeon. However, it's not before he beats Yun Tae-gyum 2 p.m.'s Jang-sung to death for betraying him and severely injures Min Gyang-yeon, Choi Young-jeon, and Moon Kwang-mo. Park Ho pushed to the corner. Big Jeong has Yoon Soyeon, Yeon Yu-sun, Gonwo's mother, kidnapped right in front of bleeding Fujin. Hong Min-byung, Super Junior Siwon, fully healed after being poisoned, takes the reins and orchestras a winner-takes-all match to take down Ham Bik-cheong. Gunwoo and Woo Jin versus Bik-cheong and Kang Eun-byon, Tae Won-seok. This is to ensure the safety of Gunwoo's mom and defeat Bik-cheong. However, Minbyom is also the sidebar with the mysterious Choi Sin-young, Park Seo-joon, a black ops agent who is tasked to kill Big Jeong. Before their match, Gonwo and Woo Jin tearfully reunite with Lee Do-young, Rai So-young, who has been making ends meet as a bloodhound himself and trained to be on a par with Big Jeong by taking lessons from the latter's coach. Unlike previous encounters, Gunwoo and Woo Jin concoct a plan to win the fight. During the hellish battle between the fires foursome, Gunwoo is able to smack Baekjun with near his eye as planned, while Gunwoo makes swift work of Invyom. In the final showdown, Big Jeong finally meets his match as a steely Gunwoo, with his hands wrapped up in illegal steel weapons, rain hellfire upon his enemy, emerging victorious after rendering the former to nothing but gory mess of bones. Sion is saved thanks to Do Young and Lee Woo Jeong, Cha Ji Hyo, with the latter getting the kill shot on Manbig. She reunites with her boys as they return home. However, the traumatic ghost of their recent past linger when they try to live a normal life. Gunwo and Wojin decided to move homes and work toward ending the Bloodhounds' rampage for good. Elsewhere, Sin Yong intercepts a police car taking Big Cheong and sends Min Byung an image of dead Big Cheong. However, is Bloodhounds Season 3 coming? In Bloodhounds Season 2's post-credit scene, Shin Yong and his mysterious crew hold Big Cheong at gunpoint to reveal who helped him creating IKFC. Someone named Patchit Chiachena. The Xinjiang relays how Patchit is planning to bring 1 ton of meth to Korea, worth 300 billion won, this fall, and ask Big Jeong to join his team of bloodhounds. Big Jeong reluctantly agrees, and viewers find out that the image sent to Min Byung was actually staged. This could hint a Bloodhounds Season 3 in the work, with Park Seo-joon's Shin Yong as the main villain, but confirmation is awaited for the same. Is Bloodhounds 2 worth watching? Bloodhounds Season 2 work for two reasons. Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-hee's red-hot chemistry that has not skipped a step, and the impassable action scene that will leave you squeamish because of how real they look. The boxing battles are more gruesome than even OG installment. Not that we are complaining in the least, though not as emotionally gripping as the first season. The second chapter of Netflix original K-drama remains as being worthy watch with a formidable antagonist. played by Rain. In his first villain role, the scene stealer this time is Chan Sung, who fought hard with the aesthetic player but will leave you emotionally wrecked by the end of series. In finale, fans of the show will not be disappointed by Bloodhounds Season 2, which packs a mean punch with a detectable aftertaste. Another review, an explosive finale to one of the coolest action thriller to hit Netflix catalog of K-drama opened windows of speculation about its future. Their series, now a full season in on original content, expanding on its original manhwa by Jeon Chan, has successfully landed the plane on an excellent new installment reuniting stars Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang, but beyond its lovable bromance and wildly exceptional fight choreography, a key name drop in the season 2 finale of Netflix Best View action thriller indicates a future for its star on two fronts, South Korea and abroad in Thailand. For those unfamiliar, Netflix released the anticipated season 2 of Bloodhounds on April 3, 2026, with audience quickly taking to social media to express enthusiasm and dish on fan theories following its unusual 7-episode run. But with the curious setup by Choi Kwang Lee, director of NIS, one of his back ops agent meets with Choi Min Byung, whose dangerous brush with season two's new Femme Fatal forced the hand of Bloodhound, most powerful player now in the final season, preceding and following the credits. This contact, Choi Sin Hyung, may have just changed the course of series if season 3 is confirmed. Warning: spoiler ahead of Bloodhounds season 2. K-drama star and industry veteran Park Shin-yeon, known for What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, Jung-seon, Creature, Italian Class, and The Marvels, made his debut in Bloodhounds season 2, episode 6. Introduced as a shadowy black ops figure with a self-described knack for creating unique codename on the fly, this character was instrumental in extracting season two's primary villain, Baek Jeong, from finally going to prison for all his crimes. Baek Jeong's action extended far beyond simple running in international crime syndicate, including dark web-based gambling on illegal boxing matches. His actions include operating alongside black market organ harvest and conspiring to and even committing first-degree murder, including of law enforcement. Big Jong's rap sheet was not exactly stable, so upon a black op team suddenly intercepting his police caravan the second time in as many episodes, it appears puzzling to the viewers what his motives are. It's here that a photo of Big Jung seemingly executed by gunshot wound to the head was sent to the Choi Min Byung, but it's revealed to be fake. In the scene just following the start of credits of Woo Do-Hwan, Lee Sang-hee and Jung Ji-hoon, who played Baek Jeong. His interrogation brings back none other than Sing Hyun, giver of Cool Agent codename. Baek Jeong is demanded to give up the name of one of his contacts aiding his operation in Bangkok, Thailand, ultimately relenting. It's here that Shin Hyun, additionally credited as premium by the series, offered to make Baek Jeong his bloodhound, in the sense that Baek Jeong become his informant in exchange for being alive and implicitly some level of freedom. While Bloodhounds is already demonstrably popular worldwide, this latest development would organically present opportunities for multiple plotline to occur. In season 2, episode 7, this interrogation leads to Baek Jeong revealing the name of his contact, Pachet Chiajan, whose next shipment would be 1 ton of meth to South Korea in the fall at 300 billion won, approximately 1988 USD. This type of intel could be massive blow to a powerful Thai drug distributor and would also present an opportunity for action to occur both in Korea and Bangkok. Hypothetically, with the manhwa already being fully, albeit loosely, adapted in season 1, season 3 would make for a unique challenge should Bloodhounds continue. It would be an opportunity for an indebated reluctant Big Jung in service to Korean intelligence operatives to work with his contact in Bangkok, while Kim Gun-woo and Hong Woo-jin could reasonably expect to be involved in intercepting said shipment in Korea. Screen Rant has reached out to Netflix for comment, and while they have declined to speak on potential Bloodhound Season 3, any renewal new will likely only follow should Season 2 perform well enough. K drama and international settings are frequent mixture as the medium's legion of fans know very well. From Can This Love Be Translated and Goblin's sparkling love affair with the natural and metropolitan beauty of Canada to the diverse and luxurious locales and destinations featured in King the Land. Bloodhounds going to Thailand, if at least for a portion of its plot, would make sense. It would be particularly engaging to see Rain's Peak Jeong in a sort of anti-hero role, since the series endeavored to keep this wholly original character alive and would be yet another opportunity for fans to see phenomenal actions. Multiple fascinating scenes across Bloodhounds Season 2, Episode 6 7 leave room for speculation about the K drama's future beyond this. Particular moments like the true post-credit scene of Kong Hee-kwan, Lee Hwan-wook, mourning Yun Tae-gyum, also murdered by Big Cheong, indicate solemn closure and cap of character arcs in the case that series does not get a season 3, but it also gives room for future conflict against Big Cheong should his survival be uncovered. Additionally, with Bloodhounds continuing to feature characters, including the return of Lee Do-young and his infinite supply of throwing knives, Baek Jeong's brutish fighting style in Bangkok could be thrilling sight to behold and break up the traditional boxing of the show's start. Considering the brutality of Muay Thai, cinema has introduced international fans to iconic hits like Ong Bak and the IKFC having connections in Bangkok. It would not be unreasonable to see this action come alive in future seasons of the Bloodhounds should be approved. Here is another review. Bloodhounds Season 2 is arriving on Netflix on April 3. Know how many episodes are there? Its release schedule, time and plot detail of Season 2. The South Korean action drama is back on Netflix with Bloodhounds Season 2 set to hit the streamer on April 3, 2026, based on the Napier webtoon of the same name by Jeong Chan. Jack Park Sian joins the pen the script with Jason Kim handling the directing duties. The bromance duo Kim Yeon-woo and Hong Woo-jin are back, but this time the stakes are higher as they enter the brutal world of an underground international boxing league, as teased by Netflix. The first season sees the two teaming up to stand against dangerous loan shark company called Smile Capital, starring Kim Jeon-woo as young boxer played by Woo Do-Hwan and Hong Woo-jin played by Lee Sang-yi, who together face violent fights, foes, and situations only to avoid getting Kim's mom becoming prey for the loan shark company. The revenge saga is now back, but moves forward 3 years after the events of the first season Gun Wu continues to chase his dream of becoming a boxing champion, while Wu Jing stands firmly by his side as his coach and chosen family. However, their journey takes a dangerous turn when they get involved in a underground international boxing and gambling ring. Release date and time of Bloodhounds Season 2. Bloodhounds Season 2, consisting of 7 episodes, is set to premiere on Netflix on April 3, 2026. Expect the season to be dropped at 12 a.m. PT, 3 a.m. ET. The first season was released in 2023, which had 8 episodes in total. Now, for the new season, the creators have dropped the episode compared to the episode count of season 1 of Bloodhounds. With one episode being less this time, the stakes are promised to be much higher than before. All 7 episodes will be released at once, allowing the viewer to watch the entire season one go. The show is a Netflix original, meaning viewers will need an active subscription plan to watch the series, starting at $8.99 per month. Another review says Bloodhounds is back with its sequel, and this time it's less stylized, more brutal, raw, and packaged with action. I honestly miss this kind of fight scenes. I gotta say, this is how second season should be. It stays true to its core story of heartfelt friendships and family while bringing back all the gripping elements from the first season. But this time, the action, the boxing, the fighting, it's just wild, intense, and bloody. WDH really unleashes his talent here. He was too good. You can tell he has put in an insane amount of hard work and preparation. It shows his discipline and mindset as an actor. And while we are talking about insane hard work, and preparation, we have to talk about the antagonist this season. Rain, you absolutely freak. His physical transformation is genuinely insane, and his screen presence is strong, ruthless, obsessive, physically intimidating, dangerous, unpredictable. He was a force to reckon with, almost unstoppable, one of the most terrifying villains. And the way he fought, his boxing, his skills, not flashy, just pure ruthless violence. The visuals and soundtrack were really good as well. The fight scenes are versatile and intense shot with a kind of frantic energy. And what made this drama even more special was the cast and the cameos. The whole cast was perfect. Everyone played their roles to perfection. They did not try to glorify or heroize just one person. It felt like a true team effort. Even the supporting cast had some insane fight scene and showed some mad skills. It's a knockout performance from everyone, full of blood, sweat, and tears. The cameos, just crazy. Who would have thought? Ugh, so many of them. Park Seo-joon, wow, he was an intriguing character and someone I would honestly love to see more of it if there is another season. Oh, and Ka Min-ah, the transformation, slick. Give her more badass role. She absolutely killed it with her screen presence. Now the script is more straightforward. It lacks a bit of emotional weight. It does not feel story driven. Everything is more or less set up for the fights, which I don't think is a bad thing honestly, because they really do make up for the script with some wild action. One more thing I need to mention. This time it felt like Hong Eugene was sort of sidelined. He got his ass kicked more than once and did not feel as strong as he did in the first season. Maybe that's because of the 5 years break and his lack of actual boxing. Still, I would have loved to see him do more. Overall, this season is darker, more violent, and delivers an insane amount of wild, well choreographed, bloody, tactical fight scenes. It does not pull any punches, it goes all in on the action. Everyone's commitment to their character is genuinely impressive. You can see they have to put their whole heart into it. WDH delivers an absolutely astonishing performance, with Rain being purely evil and intimidating. Season 2 feels bigger and more relentless. I just hope we don't have to call this underrated. It really deserves more recognition. P.S. Oh, to be loved by so many people. Kim Jong Yoo is surrounded by the people who love him dearly. That's who he is. That's his character. And WDH, he portrayed that innocence so well. Crybabies who throw hands, the cast understood the assignment. The physique, footwork, and fight choreography were convincing enough to sell the boxing world, and I say this as someone who knows nothing about boxing. But what really stood out the emotional control. They knew exactly when to hit hard and when to soften. Moon Woo and Woojin, soft hearted, borderline crybabies. But it works. They balance brutal fights with genuine warmth, making them easy to root for. Their bond and respect for boxing add heart to all the cues. Big Jong, on the other hand, was infuriating in the best way. He had me riled up every time, which made every punch our lead landed on him incredibly satisfying. The plot is simple: threats, illegal fights, money, and sprinkle of drugs. If I have one critic, it's that nothing here feels particularly new. You have seen this kind of setup before, but predictable does not mean boring. What keeps it engaging is the back and forth. Both sides take hits, even if the antagonist often feel one step ahead. All in all, I had fun. The illegal fights and the drugs fueled chaos were fun, but the two most lovable crybabies in K drama history. That's why you will stay. It's predictable. It's predictable, sure. But when a show has this much heart and this much heart, you won't care. Easy recommended for anyone who likes their action with the side of genuine. Let's look at another review. The Korean action drama Bloodhounds returned this spring with a new season arriving April 3 on Netflix. The series quickly built a loyal following after its debut. Audiences responded to its raw boxing sequences and its story of loyalty under pressure. Now the stakes are higher. The new season pushes its two unlikely heroes deeper into a violent criminal underworld where power, money, and brutality collide. At the center of Bloodhounds are Kim Gun-woo and Woo Woo-jin. The two men first meet as rivals in the boxing ring. However, their lives change when they are pulled into the ruthless world of predatory landers. Instead of remaining opponents, they form a powerful alliance. Together, they confront loan sharks who prey on the vulnerable. Their bond becomes the emotional core of series. Woo Do-Hwan returned as Gun Woo, a disciplined boxer whose quiet strength hides fierce determination. Meanwhile, Lee Sang-gi plays Woo Jin, whose sharp instinct and fearless personality balance his partner's calm focus. Because of their chemistry, the pair anchor the story even when the violence around them escalates. Season 2 expands the world of the series. After dismantling a dangerous loan shark operation, Gun Woo and Woo Jin encounter a new and far more dangerous arena. This time, the conflict unfolds inside a illegal boxing league. The fights are not about support, they are controlled by powerful figures who turn violence into spectacle. Fighters become commodities. Every match carries real consequences. As a result, two protagonists must confront enemies who operate on much larger scale than before. The new season also introduced a major new figure played by Jung Ji-hoon, widely known as Rain. His character is deeply connected to the underground boxing network. His arrival shift to the balance of power and places Gunwoo and Woo Jin in ever greater danger. Meanwhile, the two fighters rely on one thing that has carried them this far: loyalty to each other. That loyalty becomes their greatest strength in a world built on exploitation. In recent years, Korean drama have become a dominant force on global streaming platforms. Viewers around the world now follow Korean thrillers, romances, and action series with equal enthusiasm. Bloodhounds stand out with that wave. The series blend emotional storytelling with visceral fight choreography. Every punch feels real. Every victory comes at a cost. Because of the balance, the show delivers something rare. It offers spectacles while still keeping its character grounded. Gun Wu and Wu Jin have already survived one brutal battle. However, the underground world they enter now is even more dangerous. The fights are bigger, the enemies are stronger, the stakes are higher. Another review: when Blood Wounds first premiered in 2023, it threw viewers straight into a gritty underworld where two young men chasing quick cash found themselves tangled in something far more dangerous. After crushing a vicious loan shark ring in the first season, Kim Jun-woo, Woo Do-Hwan, and Jung Woo-jin, Lee Sang-hee are back again. Are you ready for this? This time, the stakes are bigger, bloodier, and way more brutal. The upcoming second season sees Kyun-woo and Woo-jin stepping into the ring against a global underground boxing league led by the cold and calculating Baek Cheong. Rain. The teaser kicks things up a notch with flashes of high skates, fight, and roaring crowd. After taking down ruthless loan shark, Jung Woo now dreams of becoming a boxing champion, while Woo Jin sticks close as his coach and unwavering support system. The two share a vow, that is, until the day we die, let's shoot act together. With every punch thrown and every round survived, they grow stronger together. But victory never comes easy. Enter Baek Cheong, the mastermind, who rules the underground league with money as his only goal, spotting Jung-woo as his next big opportunity. He pulls the pair into a far more dangerous game. Jung-woo and Woo-jin take on the challenge to face the beast by becoming even fierce. The makers also treated fans with an intriguing poster. In it, Jung-woo and Woo-jin stand shoulder to shoulder, battered and bruised but not broken. Their fists are raised, their eyes locked with determination, and between them is a promise that says, bite down and protect to the bitter end. When Bloodhound came out in 2023, it took viewers by surprise. The intense boxing, nail biting thrill, and adrenaline raising narrative made it a favorite. It had less than 10 episodes, which never worked in its favor. Seeing its success, Netflix greenlight season 2 with the main cast of Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-hee. The script reading season began some months ago. There will be new additions to the cast in form of Dex. Fans knows him from singles in Furio and Kisan Adventure. By Accident Travel Show, Dex is slowly venturing into acting. He will be on part of The Defects, a drama series coming on ENA. Now, the reports have come that Park Seo-joon is also doing cameo in Bloodhound 2. This great news for all the fans of Hunk who love to see him in an action-packed avatar. As we know, he has done MMA fight in the series like Fight for My Way and the movie the divine furry. He is great friends with Woo Do-Hwan, who was his co-star in the Divine Furry. Bloodhounds 2 is directed by Jason Kim. Of late, the What's Wrong with Secretary Kim actor has been in the news for his projects. He will be seen next in a full-fledged role in Waiting for Gino Dog. It is rom-com where a couple that dated briefly in their 20s and late 20s reunite after a scandal. He is playing the role of a news reporter. He is also in talks to play the main lead in I Am a Sinner based on the webtoon of the same name. Park Seo-joon plays a man, Peng Ai, who is caught in the world of crime after a tragic incident. He is from family of gangsters. Another review says Kim Gun-woo and Hong Woo-jin, our favorite boxing bromance or bromilo, as coined by Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-hee themselves, are geared up for another emotionally stirring knockout punch in Bloodhounds Season 2. But this time, the stakes are even higher than usual. Gunvo and Woo-jin have their work cut out for them when they are pitted against Am Bi-jeong Rain, the notorious yet mysterious owner of IKFC, an illegal underground boxing league who is hell-bent on pulling Gunvo into his shady business. While Gunvo and Woo-jin are determined to take down their new archnemesis by themselves, their loved ones are actively getting involved one by one, putting their lives in harm's way. The feisty duo have to risk it all once again to put an end to Big Jong's trying. The question arises, are Gunwoo and Woonjin be able to defeat Big Jong? Bloodhounds Season 2 ending explainer. Let's take another review. When Bloodhounds came out in 2023, it took viewers by surprise. The intense boxing, nail biting thrills, and adrenaline raising narrative made it a favorite. It has less than 10 episodes, which work in its favor. Seeing its success, Netflix greenlighted season 2 with the main cast of Woo Do-hwan and Lee Sang-hee. The script reading session began some months ago. There will be new additions to the cast in form of Tex. Fans knows him by from Single Inferior and Kisan's Adventure by Accident travel show. Tex is slowly venturing into the acting. He will be a part of Defects, a drama, a series coming on Ina. However, now reports have come that Park Seo-joon is also doing a cameo in Bloodhounds 2. This is great news for all the fans of Hunk who love to see him in an action-packed avatar. As we know, he has done MMA fight in series like Fight for My Way and the movie The Driven Furry. He is great friends with Woo Do-Hwan, who was his co-star in Divine Furry. Bloodhounds 2 is directed by Jason Kim. Of late, the What's Wrong with Secretary Kim actor has been in the news for his project. He will be seen in next a full-fledged role in Waiting for John Dog. It is a rom-com where a couple that dated briefly in their 20s and late 20s reunite after a scandal. He is playing the role of a news reporter after. He is also in talk to play the main lead in I Am a Sinner, based on the webtoon of same name. Park Seo-joon plays a man, Pang Wan, who is caught in the world of crime after a tragic incident. He is from a family of gangsters. And other review Kim Gun-woo and Hong Ho-jin, our favorite boxing bromance or bromilo, as coined by Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-gi themselves, are geared up for another emotionally stirring knockout punch in Bloodhounds Season 2. But this time, the stakes are even higher than usual. Gunwo and Wojin have their work cut out for them when they are pitted against M. Baek Cheong in the notorious yet mysterious owner of IKFC, an illegal underground boxing league, who is hell bent on pulling Gunwo into his shady business. While Gunwo and Wojin are determined to take down their new archimedes by themselves, their loved ones actively get involved, one by one, putting their lives in harm's way. The feisty duo have to risk it all at once again to put an end to Big Cheong's tyranny. The question arises, are Gunwoo and Woo Jin able to defeat Big Cheong before Bloodhounds Season 2 glory finale? And Baek Cheong, who was arrested, is able to flee thanks to Lee Man-bi. However, it is not before he beats Yoon Tae-gyum 2 pm's Chansung to death for betraying him and severely injures Min Gyeong-gyong, Choi Young-joon, and Moon Kwang-moo. Park Hoon, pushed to the corner, Baek Cheong has Yoon-seung, Yoon Yo-sun, Gunwoo's mother, kidnapped right in front of bleeding Woo Jin. Hong Min-byum, Super Junior Seon, fully healed after being poisoned, takes the reins and orchestras a winner-takes-all match to take down MP Jeon. Gun-woo and Woo-jin versus Big Jeong and King Kang in Byung. Tae Won-seok. This is to ensure the safety of Gunwo mom and defeat Big Jong. However, Min Byum is also on the sidebar with the mysterious Choi Sin Young, Park Seo Joon, a black ops agent who is tasked to kill Big Jong. Before their match, Gunwo and Woo Jin tearfully reunite with Lee Do-young, who so young, who has been making ends meet as a bloodhound himself and trained to be on a par with Big Jeong by taking lessons from the latter's coach. Unlike previous encounters, Gunwo and Woo Jin concord a plan to win the fight. During the hellish battle between the fire's foursome, Gunwoo is able to smack Baek Cheong near his eye as planned, while Gunwoo makes swift work of Inbyom. In the final shutdown, Baek Cheong finally meets his match as a steely Gunwoo, with his hands wrapped up in illegal steel weapons, rained hellfire upon his enemy, emerging victorious after rendering the former to nothing but gory mess of bones. Sion is saved thanks to Doyoung and Lee Woo Jeong, with the latter getting the kill shot on Manby. She reunites with her boys as they return home. However, the traumatic ghost of their recent past lingers when they try to live a normal life. Gunwoo and Woo Jin decides to move homes and work toward ending The Bloodhound rampage for good. Elsewhere, Shin Yong intercept the police car, taking Baek Jong and send Min Byung an image of that Baek Jong. However, is Bloodhound Season 3 coming? In Bloodhound Season two's post-credit scene, Shin Yong and his mysterious crew hold Baek Jong at gunpoint to reveal who helped him in creating IKFC, someone named Pachit Chinyanchan. Shin Yong relays how Pachit is planning to bring 1 ton of meth to Korea, worth 300 billion won, this fall, and asks Baek Jeong to join his team of bloodhounds. Baek Jeong reluctantly agrees, and viewers find out that the image sent to the Minbyong was actually staged. This could hint a Bloodhound Season 3 in the work with Park Seo-joon's Shin Yong as the main villain, but confirmation is awaited for the same. Is Bloodhounds 2 worth watching? Bloodhounds Bloodhounds Season 2 work for 2 seasons. Woo Do-Hwan and Lee Sang-yee's red-hot chemistry that has not skipped a step, and the impassable action scenes that will leave you squeamish because of how real they look. The boxing battles are more gruesome than even the OG installment. Not that we complaining in the least, though not as emotionally gripping as the first season. The second chapter of Netflix original K-drama remains a binge-worthy watch, with the formidable antagonist played by Rain in his first villain role. The scene stealer this time is Chang Swan, who fought hard with aesthetic player but will leave you emotionally wrecked by the end of the series. In finality, fans of the show will not be disappointed by the Bloodhounds Season 2, which packs a mean punch with a detectable aftertaste. The musical identity of Bloodhound has been one of its quietly distinctive quality since the first season, where a combination of original score and carefully selected needle drop helped define the show's kinetic atmosphere. Season 2 continued this approach with the soundtrack curated to match and amplify the season's heightened register of violence, determination, and emotional stakes. The original score for the series was designed to complement the visual vocabulary of the show's action sequences, using the precursive, rhythmically driving musical foundation that reflect boxing context. Music as footwork, as the internal tempo of a fighter's physical and psychological preparation. The scoring philosophy echoes the show's broader aesthetic commitment. The music serves the story rather than decorating it, and its most effective moments are those where the score seems to breathe with the same rhythm as fighter, working through a combination. Season two's soundtrack drew notable interest from audience, with a fan-curated playlist appearing on major streaming platforms within days of the show's April 3 release. Spotify saw the emergence of multiple Bloodhounds Season 2 Netflix soundtrack playlist compiling music from the inspired by the series. This organic fan engagement with the music, a continuation of the first season's soundtrack community, which had accumulated hundreds of saves on similar playlists, speak to the degree to which the show audio identity resonated with its audience as something distinctive and worth preserving. The integration of Rain's musical identity as a prominent K-pop and R&B artist into the show's overall sonic world was a topic of interest among fans, though the series carefully maintained the distinction between his role as an actor and his career as a musician. Peak John is defined by physical means and psychological darkness, not by any musical association with Rain, the artist. The discipline with which the production kept these persons separate was itself a mark of seriousness with which Rain's villain performance was convinced and executed. For the first season, the song "Born for This" by American rock band, the score became particularly associated with the show's action-driven spirit, circulating widely on social media and fan-created content. Season 2 similarly generated a rich ecosystem of fan-produced musical content with numerous fan edits pairing the show's fight sequence with original and licensed music. Extended fight sequence with original and licensed music, extending the show's cultural life well beyond the season. The show's release. Theoretical. Bloodhounds Season 2 was produced and distributed exclusively as a Netflix original series and did not receive a theatrical release. This is consistent with Netflix's standard distribution model for its Korean drama Slate, in which the streaming platform served as the primary exclusive window for original content. The simultaneous worldwide release of all 7 episodes on April 3, 2026 was a deliberate strategic choice, maximizing global culture impact by ensuring the audience in every Netflix territory could engage with the show at the same time. A model that has proven particularly effective for Korean dramas, where the conversation between domestic Korean audience and international fandom tends to generate significant promotional energy. The decision to release all the episodes simultaneously rather than on a weekly schedule was notable. While some critics noted that the Bing release model can work against the development of week to week anticipation and cultural discussion for Bloodhound, a series built around unrelenting narrative momentum and the addictive quality of its action sequence. All at once model appear to have served the show's strength effectively. Audience who might have found it difficult to sustain engagement across a week long weekly drop were instead able to surrender completely to the show's propulsive rhythm over a single extended viewing experience. Promotion activity ahead of the April 23 release was extensive and carefully managed. Netflix unveiled new action production still on March 27, 2026, approximately 1 week before the premiere, drawing immediate attention for their explosive intensity. The official trailer released in the lead up to the premiere confirmed the visual upgrade that fans and media has speculated about, offering close up previews of the season's fight choreography and establishing Rain's villain credential in a series of chilling frames. that set social media alight with discussion. A press conference held in Seoul on March 31, 2026, attended by Rain, Woo Do-Hwan, and Lee Sang-hee, provided the international entertainment media with their most extensive look at the creative team's vision for the new season. Photographs from the event, including Han Myung-gyu, circulated widely across the entertainment coverage. The event allowed the principal cast to speak publicly about their preparation, their experience during the filming, and their hopes for the season, generating a final wave of promotional excitement in the days immediately before the global release. Let's check another review. Discover everything about Kang Tae-yoon in the new season of the hit Netflix action drama. Explore her crucial role as a brave police officer, her budding romance, and her fight against a ruthless dark web underground boxing syndicate. Bloodhounds Season 2 has officially arrived, bringing intense action back to the screen. The highly anticipated sequel series premiered globally on Netflix on April 3. Fans can now stream all the new episodes exclusively on the popular streaming platform. This new chapter dives deep into much darker criminal underworld. The storyline follows the heroic duo as they face the Iron Knuckle Fighting Championship IKFC, a deadly dark web boxing ring run by a very ruthless new villain. So, who is Tai Young in Bloodhounds Season 2? The character is played by Park Yi-mi. She is a brave police officer returning to assist the protagonist. This character becomes a crucial ally in their dangerous battle against the brutal new underground illegal betting syndicate. Who is Tai Young? Kang Tai Young is a dedicated police officer bringing justice to the gritty narrative. After being injured in the first season, her daring return is powerful. Her prior trauma inspire her determination to overthrow the cartel. She becomes Kim Gyun-woo and Hong Woo-jin's ally, played excellently by Park Yi-mi. Her law enforcement expertise provides crime fighting insider information, tactical resources, and strategic support. Watching Blood Moon Season 2 will show her importance. Tai Yoon regularly guides heroes through dark web network. She is crucial to following the ultra-violent Iron Knuckle Fighting Championship IKFC, which endangers the innocent lives. Her perseverance make her invincible. Investigating the dark web syndicate in Bloodhounds Season 2. As the plot thickens, Tai Young uses her specialized police skills to uncover the hidden financial trails of the massive 4 million viewers bankrolling the elite matches. She tirelessly works behind the scene to bypass the signal jamming device used by the ruthless villain. Her deep understanding of cybercrime proved absolutely essential in breaking down the enemy defense. Her unwavering commitment ensured that Gunwu and Wu Jin are never fighting entirely alone, solidifying her status as a standout character. A blossoming romance and key alliances. Beyond her heavy professional duties, Tai Yong adds significant emotional depth to the fast paced story. The narrative carefully explores beautifully budding romance between her and the passionate marine Hong Po Jin. This romantic relationship offers a heartwarming, soft contrast to the horrific violence and bleak reality surrounding them. The stakes in Bloodhounds Season 2 are incredibly high, with losers of the underground matches facing terrifying organ extraction or fatal disposal. Amidst this utter chaos, Tai Young grounds the heroes emotionally. Her growing bond with Wu Jin effectively highlight the massive personal risk involved, showing that the characters are fighting for the love and survival alongside justice. Some other cast member of Bloodhound Season 2. The action packed sequel balanced familiar faces with newcomers. Woo Do-Hwan shines again as the humble, explosive boxer Kim Gyun-woo. Lee Sang-ji delivers charisma as his loyal friend and coach. Woo Jin actor Rain makes his villainous debut as Byuk Jeong, chilling leader of the Global Betting League. In Bloodhound Season 2, Choi Si-won played a strategic Min Byung. Lee Si-yeon plays Man B. Tae Won-Seok, Choi Young-joon, Yoon Yoo-sun, Park Hoon, Wang Chan-sung, Cha Ji-hyuk, and Lee Myung-ro. Dex and a suspected Park Seo-joon cameo will embellish this dark, gritty action universe. Another review says when Bloodhound hit Netflix in 2023, the pandemic set Korean drama about a pair of amateur boxers who take down a loan shark operator was as satisfying as was violent. The series centered the romance between Jun Woo, Mr. Plankton's Voodoo Hwan, and Woo Jin, Good Boys Lee Sang-gi, injecting what is essentially a brutal crime drama with their sometimes silly, always heartwarming camaraderie. If these boys were left to their own devices, they would live out their days happily, training for boxing matches and eating John Woo's mother's home cooked dinner. Unfortunately, the world does not want to leave John Woo and Woo Jin alone. They may have defeated Kim Myo al- in season 1, but there is always another villain in season 2. That villain is Big Jong, played by K-pop icon Rain. Big Jong is a vicious boxer who runs the IKFC, an underground fight club watched by millions of Bitcoin paying users on the dark web. When Big Jong becomes fixated on getting Junwo to fight him and Junwo refuses, Things escalates. Big Jeong spends most of the season's 7 episodes trying to kidnap Yoon Seo Yeon, Yoon So Yo's son, Jun Woo's mother, as a way to convince the honorable boxer to face him. Big Jeong and his gaggle of minions finally succeeded in the preliminary episode, setting the stage for a bloody final battle. Here's how Bloodhounds Season 2 boxes its way to a brutal conclusion. Bloodhounds assemble in 2000 in episode 6. The Big Jong is captured by the police, made possible by the betrayal of his right hand man, Tai Jong, Huang Chan's son. But Big Jong has other allies whose loyalty is mostly guaranteed by Big Jong's very deep pockets. Man Bei Lee Seon uses his bloodhound chatroom to offer a reward for any Americans who help us bring Big Jong from police custody. The tactic works with a small army of bloodhounds, surprising and overpowering the transport on the way to police headquarters. In the scramble, Big Jeong kills Tai Gyong and police officer and leaves Detective Gang Yong, Choi Young Jeon, in critical condition. Meanwhile, another gaggle of bloodhounds successfully overpowers the bodyguards who have been tasked with keeping So Yeon, aka Jeon Woo's mom, out of Big Jeong clutches. Woo Jin tries to fight them off, but season 1 adversary Ambyom Tae Won-Seok overpower Jun Woo's best friend. Rather than see Woo Jin beaten further, So Yeon agrees to go with Ambyom. Heading into the final episode, Jun Woo and Woo Jin's side has been decimated. So Yeon is kidnapped, everyone is injured. Kang Yong, who had been leading the police operation, is in serious condition. Min Byung, Jun Woo's Cheobol ally and eventual friend from season 1, is willing to do anything to rescue So Yeon and bring Big Jong in. He asks his uncle, who heads the NIS, for some help. This brings NIS agent Shin Hyung into the mix. Shin Hyung suggests that Min Byung lure Big Jeong out with the promise of a winner takes all fight with Jeon Woo. Du Young returned from the dead. In season 1, Jeon Woo's sashimi knife wielding comrade Du Young was seemingly murdered by Myung Lee alongside his pregnant wife. As is revealed in episode 7, Du Young survived, and from the looks of his phone background, so did his wife and his kid. He has been living out the past 4 years as bloodhound for hire. When an injured Moon Kwang-mo Park-hon reaches out to Du Yong to let him know that Jun Woo and Woo Jin need his help, he comes. Du Yong's reappearance is as much needed morale boost for Jeon Woo and Woo Jin, who are still reeling after Jeon Woo's mom's kidnapping. Du Yongs also bring a particular skill set that the group does not have, the willingness to torture someone. He finds Big Jong's doctor and forces information out of him, namely the number for Man B's burner phones, which allow them to contact Big Jong. Big Jong agree to fight, and Woo Jin suggests that they arise the stakes for two fair. Jeong Woo and Woo Jin versus Big Jong and Ambyong. If Big Jong and Ambyong win, they will get 100 billion won, roughly 66 million dollars in prize money and a private jet to Thailand. If Jeonwoo and Woo-jin wins, then his mother goes free. Woo Do-Hwan and Jung Ji-hoon, courtesy of Netflix. A final showdown between the Jeonwoo and Baekjeong to train the fight. Kyung-woo and Woo-jin manage to track down the man who taught Baekjeong everything he knows. The coach explained how counter Baekjeong's ambidextrous fighting style, and the boys spent their remaining time training. Heading into the fight, Woo Jin suggests to Jun Woo that they surprise Big Jeong by switching the matchup. Woo Jin will break Big Jeong and Jun Woo will face Ambyong. Woo Jin does not expect to beat Big Jeong, but he thinks he can wear him down enough to give Jun Woo a better chance to take him down after. The crazy plan worked. Wu Jing managed to hold his own against Big Jeong, weakening him before Jeong Wu take over. Jeong Wu, who is able to soundly defeat Ambyong first, is able to knock Big Jeong out. Meanwhile, Du Yong slaughters an entire building of bloodhounds in the search for So Young. He does not find her, but realizes she is being kept in the building next door. The information allows Kok Woo Jeong, Chae Ji Hyuk to rescue Seo Yeon, shooting and killing Man Bi in the process. Big Jeong is disappeared. The boxing battles are more gruesome than even the OG installment. Not that we are complaining in the least, though not as emotionally gripping as the first season, but the second season of Netflix original K-drama remains as being worthy watch with a formidable antagonist played by Rain in his first villain role. The scene stealer this time is Chang Sung, who fought hard with aesthetic player but will leave you emotionally wrecked by the end of the series. In finality, fans of the show will not be disappointed by the Bloodhounds season 2, which packs a mean punch with a delectable aftertaste.